You can create database projects in Visual Studio, but did you know you can also manage your existing database in Visual Studio? In this video, I'm going to show you how to import an existing database, refactor it, and then publish the changes back up to the database in 10 minutes or less. Now, for most of my training, I work to give you an in-depth perspective on technology, but sometimes you just need a quick answer to the question, how do I do this? That's why I created this 10-minute training series. So let's jump into Visual Studio. I already have pulled up a new project here. We're going to create a SQL Server database project. It's under query language if you want to search through your list for it. If you don't have the database tools installed, you wouldn't see this project type. So install the database tools. So we hit next, and let's call this Tim's Diner. And we're going to hit create. And again, if you don't have those database tools installed, under the tools menu, the first option there is to get the features you need for Visual Studio to configure it. You can change those as necessary. So tools, get tools and features, that will allow you to install those database tools. Okay, so over here in SQL Server Object Explorer, under my local DB, I have this database called Tim's Diner. And in here are a couple of tables. And if we come down here, programming or programmability under store procedures, there's some store procedures as well. This is from a different video I did, a demo for it. So let's import this into Visual Studio. The way I do that is I right-click my project, my SQL project, and I say I want to import a database. And I choose a database, which you just browse your database and select it, or in this case, it's already in this list. I hit connect. Now, don't check the create new solution. We already have our project here. And you can decide if you want to check or uncheck these boxes, like do you want to import application scope to objects only, import reference logins, import permissions, import database settings. This depends on you and your database setup and how you want to do it. We're going to leave the defaults. Now, the folder structure is going to be schema/object type. We could just say object type if we wanted to go that way. I think that we probably will leave it this way just because you might have multiple schemas. If you only have one schema, DBO, then maybe you don't utilize this, but it helps to have this so you can kind of add more schemas later and be fine. We hit start. It's going to import everything. That's a small database, so we're good. It's not importing data, just the structure. So now you can see the DBO folder. Inside there, we have store procedures and tables. Store procedures, there's my multiple store procedures. Tables, there's my tables. Now, if I come in here into my order, and of course that messed up my screen a little bit. Let's just do that. There we go. According to this, I can look and say, well, I see quantity. But what if I want to change this? Instead of quantity, I want to call it item quantity, which that's a problem because I have in here quantity, which I'm sorry, right here, actually. And, get by ID, there's quantity. So I have this in multiple places. Well, not a problem. If I come back over here and I come to quantity and I say refactor, rename, and I want to change quantity to be item quantity. Preview the changes, and it says, hey, that's going to change, and here's the location. It's going to change not only this location, but also this insert store procedure and this get by ID store procedure. I hit apply, and all of a sudden now it's changed here in my table, but also in my insert, it's changed, and in my get by ID, it's changed. So this is a safe way to refactor your database using Visual Studio tools using this database project. Now, I go up to properties. The one thing we're going to change here is the target platform. Now it says SQL Server 2022 or Azure SQL Database Managed Instance. You want to change that to Microsoft Azure SQL Database. You might say, well, Tim, I'm not using Azure. I'm using SQL Server, a different version with 17, 16, 14, whatever. Not a problem. You can change to that, but the Microsoft Azure SQL Database will also work with 19. It will work with 2022, and I believe 17 as well. So this is kind of like a catch-all option for us so that we don't have an error when we try to publish this. So right-click, we're going to say publish, and we're going to choose the connection. There's that Tim's Diner DB. I'm going to say I can generate the script, which is going to generate a change script for me. It's not going to overwrite everything and destroy all my data. It's just going to generate a change script and say, hey, this column is now this store procedure is now this, and so on. I'm going to hit publish. And it's going to publish. And now if I come over here to SQL Server Object Explorer, I come at tables and I look at my order table. Let's just view data. And we can see that we have, this is item quantity now, not just quantity. And if we come over here to my store procedures, and we come over to I believe insert was one of them. So let's go ahead and open this up. There we go. And we have item quantity. So it has refactored database. So in just a few minutes, I import my database, I refactored it, and I re-exported it out to my database. And if that's what you want to do, that's great. But what you can do now is you can put this database structure in source control. And then you can track the changes as you make them and make them here rather than in SQL Server. That way you can track them in source control, you can deploy it with your code, and so many other things. So the SQL Server database project is an awesome project to use in Visual Studio. It's one that gets often overlooked, but it's a great one to use, and you don't have to use it forever. You can say, okay, now we're done. We'll just use just SQL Server if you want, but it's under source control, so why wouldn't you use it more? But also, you can say, hey, I got an existing database, no problem. Let's put that into source control and go from here on with source control. So it's a great project. It's a great way to quickly get up and running with working with your database in Visual Studio and having the niceties of things like refactoring and the visually seeing what's going to happen and testing it out locally and then being able to deploy it to multiple locations and so many other things. So that's it. In just a few minutes, we're up and running. All right. Thanks for watching. And as always, I am Tim Corey.